Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do this update tarot reading to see what energies this artist have available for himself for the next 3 to 6 months. And I'm talking about Big Bang's T.O.P or Top, like I like to call him. I know a lot of people refer to him as T.O.P, and I think that that's the correct pronunciation of his stage name. But I'm going to refer to him as Top. So yes. So let's talk a bit about his energy. I did an individual reading for him last year, but I do not remember if it was a personality reading. I don't remember right now, so I'm excited to read for him individually because I know a lot of people are wondering how he's doing, with his decision to somehow find independence from the company, and with what's going on with the rest of the members of Big Bang. And of course that this is, an individual reading. So I'm going to read for him, for what's available for his person, for himself. So if I see the others, I will let you know. But in case I just see only him, I will focus on his energy. And he is a Scorpio, we know it, with a moon in Aries. So definitely a very fiery guy. I think that I mentioned this in some of my lives. We always talk about different idols, but we always talk about astrology. So whenever I try to talk about, a moon in Aries or Aries people, that's a very interesting conversation because actually moon in Aries people and famous people and celebrities and idols, they tend to be like not the rebels of the group, but it's more like about them honoring their individuality, and they let you know from day one that they focus a lot on themselves, because Aries energy is, the first, is the baby of the zodiac, is the first one in the zodiac wheel. So somehow the energy starts with Aries, the Big Bang, the great explosion, the beginnings, like, okay, we need to make something happen. And somehow a moon in Aries person is like that. It's like the initiator of a lot of things. And also, if we think that he's a Scorpio, it's also a sign that it's ruled by Mars. So he definitely has this push in him, this need, this pull in him to actually like break free from a lot of things, and somehow every now and then go through some kind of transformation, some death and rebirth of himself, he probably transforms himself a lot. He goes through moments of darkness and then eventually he rises up like the phoenix that he is. So I think that it makes sense that he made this decision. I think that this is not just him doing this for his professional life. I think that he is like this in a lot of aspects of his life. He's trying to connect with his inner child, and this is something that I once, like, I made a post about this, about how moon in Aries idols, sometimes in their lyrics, they talk and they mention a lot their inner child. There's something about them, like, somehow still holding on to the inner child in them. So, sometimes fame can be a bit traumatic for us while we are growing up, especially if you started really young, or if you feel like you had to postpone, I don't know, having the pleasure of being childish, you had to start working from an early age, so somehow you did put like, like a hold to your childish nature, to your innocence somehow, because you entered an adult's world and somehow you had responsibilities and you had to work and you had to be, independent. So when these moon in Aries people, they start like maturing and also like getting more in contact with themselves and with their individual needs about what they want for themselves, not what other wants from them. They start to like do a lot of maturing. They really start to flourish. A lot of their potential start to flourish, and they do inspire others to also connect with themselves. You know, like it's okay to be a bit more individualist. You know, to not get loose or get lost actually in a group or in a like in a circles mentality. You know that somehow you do need to think about yourself and think and have your own opinions. You know, not so much like go with the flow with what everyone is doing. Sometimes you do need to break free and be a bit individualistic, because if you don't, you are going to regret it eventually, you know. So I think that this is something that actually T.O.P or top energy reminds me a lot, you know, about this need for independence. You know, maybe a few years ago he didn't feel like he had the strength to make this decision, but now is his moment. So, and the cards that he got, I'm going to give you a brief spoiler. The cards are amazing, the cards that he got. So if you're worried about him, don't be. He got the Prince, the Knight of Cups, the Chariot, the Death card, the Three of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. So yes, I think that something, you know, he's moving forward. You know, if you see the knight is looking at the future. The man in the chariot is looking at the front, at the road ahead. The death card is also looking at the future. You know, there's a lot of this Ace of Pentacles, it's like opening this hand opening from the clouds. It's also facing the future. So there's like a huge change and transformation in Top's life, and I think that he definitely has the need to move forward. You know, I think that probably, you know, it wouldn't be a Scorpio, a reading for a Scorpio, if I didn't get the death card here in the spread, and I definitely got it for him. So he is living this transformation. He is like transitioning this in a very loving way. You know, he is somehow more at peace with himself. It's not traumatic anymore. It's not forceful anymore. It's not painful. You know, there's something here about there's no pain here. Like, I do not regret anything. You know, I do not have, like, somehow the ghosts that he had from his past are no longer here. You know, because somehow he is a tough person. He is a tough guy. You know, he can go through a lot of things and come back stronger. But in the past, he was a bit like vulnerable, you know, just like we all have our ups and downs. And I think that he was in certain periods where he couldn't let go of the guilt. You know, there's something about like, oh, I wish I would have done things differently. I wish I could have done this. I wish things were like this. I like almost like feeling pity for himself, you know, and a bit embarrassed about his past behaviors, you know, and but he definitely now is more like, you know, like at peace. He's like, okay, like loving himself a little bit, you know, like also loving and recognizing his scars, his wounds, his traumas, you know, and being like, okay, yes, I was awful back then, or I made a lot of mistakes, but now I don't hurt anymore. Like I because I think that he hurts himself a lot, in the sense that probably he keeps obsessing about things that he couldn't control, you know. And sometimes um, we do go through moments of being out of control because we need to feel something, you know. Somehow we need the rush of being out of control. So maybe for him, you know, being out of control is a sort of like defense mechanism as well. You know, it's like when you, for example, it's not it's not actually like unexpected to see that a lot of famous people go through moments of out of control. You know, probably they go through scandals, they act in a very like, you know, very like in a way that is very rational, you know, and you are like, oh, why are you doing this? You are a public image. Like, why are you behaving like this? And they do it because somehow they need to set themselves free. You know, there's this sense of, I need to set myself free from the pressure of being who I am, you know, or of the exposure of, or a sort of rebellion against what people think about me, you know. So definitely, I think that now he's like, okay, I'm moving on. Like, finally, I'm taking what I feel, I'm taking my, you know, my feelings, my thoughts about everything that happened, and I'm being more compassionate towards myself, you know. And I think that probably this has to do that he had the help of people actually, like helping him realize that, you know, that actually that, you know, things weren't that, you know, that that bad, you know. Probably he, I don't know if maybe he maybe went through it, went to see a therapist, or if he had like therapeutic sessions, or if he had like a sort of counselor next to him. But there was definitely someone that somehow had a very therapeutic approach in his life, so he was able to talk about his feelings, you know. And I think that this is why he is like a bit more gentle with himself right now, you know. And also like he likes himself right now, you know, he likes himself. There's something also probably about, you know, about Top being a bit self-destructive, you know, probably has to do with him actually not liking himself, you know, in deep down in his heart. He's a very deep guy, you know, and I'm saying this because I can feel it through the reading, you know, like I'm like looking at this spread, and I know that this um, is not what the cards are about, but somehow it lets me know that um, it's not, reading for him is not, it's not easy, you know, because he is very complex and he does have a lot of layers. So, you know, if I probably like start like interpreting something, you know, don't take it literal like it's in the cards. It's more like an intuition that I have where, for because of his energy, you know. He's somehow like guiding me, you know, in this reading to talk a bit about his journey to recovery. You know, that the recovery is not that glamorous, you know, and that he had to go to a very low place so he could finally like realize that hating himself wasn't the solution, you know, but that's how he felt, you know. Sometimes people have a weird perception of famous people, you know, because they look at you and they look at you if you are handsome or if you are rich or if you are abundant, and they are like, oh, this person must be really happy. And actually no, there's a lot of shadow in the, a lot of shadows, a lot of unsolved issues in a famous person. This is why you cannot guide yourself by just the way they look. They are, some people are just average, like what you see in the pictures. You know, there's so much deepness in there. But in the case of Top, he definitely is much more than what you see. So this is what I was getting. So he's moving forward, he's working. If he's starting his own company, he's definitely like already putting the effort, guys, because he's like on full mode like going towards his goals. And he's also like collaborating with others. He's also like, I think that he's working on himself, on his own projects, and he's definitely like working. I can really see that you will definitely see the results. You will hear a lot about his individual projects because I see him like already working, and also being really successful. Like if you're worried if he's going to be successful, he's going to be great. He started. He's the last card is the Ace of Pentacles, guys. So definitely success is on the way for him. But it's all because of his hard work. This is why the Three of Pentacles is here. And it's also because of the support of others. He definitely is supported by others. There's a lot of influential people that also want to like invest in him. There's a lot of people also waiting to work with him. He is a very like influential person. Like I think that somehow this is why he needs to be in this healthy mindset right now, because somehow he's going to need to be really like focused on himself and being very grounded and being very like responsible, because this that he's creating is going to be huge. So he needs to be in the right mindset. He needs to prepare himself for that. He needs to be like clean. His aura, his mind, his body, everything has to be very like prepared. Like to get rid of any kind of like um like fear or insecurity. He needs to remove all that and become this sort of like business person. A bit of a cold mentality, yes, being a bit cold and rational, not so emotional. He's going to do great. He's going to do great. I think that he had been like going through this process of transformation for quite a while, actually. Probably the last two years or so. He had been like in a sort of purge, like purging, like somehow, getting rid of the darkness, and somehow like healing. This is why I think that if he gets this success that he so much wants and he deserves, of course, because he's very hardworking. Um, I think that this is not something that he woke up one day and was like, okay, I'm going to do this. No, he actually knew that the first step to actually like, go back to his professional life is to be clean, to be honest with himself, to be able to look at himself in the mirror and be like, okay, like I am this person today. This is a new chapter for me. I'm going to do this right. Because actually, just like any Scorpio or Scorpio energy, Top is very strong-willed. He's very perseverant and he's very like benevolent as well. So uh, what he wants, he gets. It's just that I think that there was a period in his life where he just was tired of being perceived as this powerful person when actually he was feeling very sensitive inside. Like there was like this kind of like there wasn't a coherency, like uh, coherence, in the way people saw him and how he felt. So now he's like, okay, now I'm stepping again into my power, but I'm not rejecting who I was in the past. Like I am taking responsibility, and also I am also like letting people know that yes, I was weak, I was vulnerable, and that I'm not ashamed of that. So definitely he is a very definitely, guys, when I read for him, I hope that a lot of people, not only the fans, but it would be interesting if he actually released like his memoirs, like a book, a biography about his life, because I'm just reading these 5 cards from him, and I'm getting so much insightfulness, so much insight. So that I think that he could be a very motivational force for a lot of people that are going through hard times, because the way he's showing me this is like, I'm like empathizing with him. And I think that the lessons that he's learning and that he will continue to learn, um, I think that his experience can actually serve as an example for a lot of people that actually think that they are going through dark times themselves, and that they don't think, they cannot see the way out. So I think that it would be interesting for Top to actually share his experience in a more like deep way, because you should like pay attention and listen to what he has to say. There's a lot of wisdom. And also, you know what it is? There's a lot of like, there's no fakeness. There's a lot of honesty in his expression of what he went through. There's a lot of rawness, actually. Top is not a guy that, he's not afraid to call things by their name. He doesn't sugarcoat things. He just tells you the name of the things, the feelings, the thoughts. He doesn't sugarcoat them. He tells you exactly how he delivers the message just like he receives it or perceives it. So this is very strong, guys. I hope that actually he can get to share a lot more about his personal struggles, and not to glamorize, because I think that sometimes this is what people do, when they see a celebrity talking about their traumas and stuff, that people tend to glamorize, and somehow put that person that overcomes something like a hero, oh, like, oh, look how brave he is, look how tough he is. And actually, yes, it's not about being like a survivor. It's more about being honest with yourself and being like, yes, I was weak too. I was weak too. And now I'm a different person. This is something that the Scorpio energy teaches us a lot. That is, when you think that you know me, I transform myself. Life transforms me. So maybe next time that you see me, I'm not going to be the same person that you saw. So, this is why when people try to put a label on someone, and Scorpio energy is like, you cannot put a label on me because you don't know me. I can be a totally stranger to you tomorrow, because they're always evolving, they're always changing their skin. So, there's no need for you to try to find reasons of why I am changed or why I am transformed. I'm just simply becoming a better version of me. And yes, it can be shocking for a lot of people, but I think that this is very, it's not about saying like, oh yes, because I went through so much. No, it's more about like, today I feel like I am more myself. And yes, it was difficult. Yes, it wasn't easy, but here I am. And it's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. And we all should like go through that, but not expect applauses or recognition. Just do it for you. Do the transformation for yourself. And yes, since we have the Three of Pentacles, guys, because I can imagine people being like, oh, but what about Big Bang? And since there's the Three of Pentacles, that is the card of teamwork, and there also, the Ace of Pentacles, he also is going to be successful with the group. So be patient with Big Bang, because I don't see them like releasing, a lot of activities now, but, we are still starting this year. They could surprise you eventually with some big event. So, let's not determine anything. I think that everything that he's involved in, and everything that he works with, is going to be a success. So this also has to do with the members as well. So yes, guys, this is all I have for him. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.